This episode is brought to you by SGC 2015. Be a part of the biggest party in gaming this summer, July 17th through 19th in Dallas, Texas. Get more information and register to attend at sgconvention.com. Hope to see you there. Spider-Man! Good old Spidey, aka Peter Parker. Pretty much everyone knows the story. Nerdy high school kid goes on a field trip, gets bitten by a radioactive spider, and boom! Superpowers! It's one of the simplest origin stories in comic history. Or it would be if it were true. I'm Jocelyn the intern. I do all the research nobody else wants to, straight from the desk of Death Battle. Unless you weren't paying attention to my inflection like 5 seconds ago, you'd probably guess that that's not actually the true origin story. Well, at least not for the Amazing Spider-Man, which is the first self-titled and longest-lasting Spider-Man series. In Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 30, Spidey is going around town doing some pretty normal spider stuff. You know, beating up crooks, slapping goons, swinging on webs, sitting there, doing it until he runs into a suspicious man named Ezekiel with what appears to be the exact same set of spider powers that Peter possesses. Throughout this arc, Ezekiel drops a bombshell on Spidey, telling him that the powers he has are not from being bitten by a radioactive spider, but a magic spider that simply happened to be radioactive. Turns out the radioactive thing ends up saving his ass later when it's revealed to be one of the Spidey villain's weaknesses. Although that's not to say Spider-Man's radioactivity is a pure upside. Oh, no. See, there's a mini-series that takes place in a gritty future, much like Dark Knight Returns, but for Spider-Man. Spider-Man Reign tries so hard to be edgy and dark, it's comical. Featuring a now gray-haired Peter Parker who has to dig up the body of his long-dead lover Mary Jane, and since the writers thought digging up an ex-lover's corpse wasn't bad enough, they kicked it up a notch with Spidey's toxic monologue where he explains that, get this, he gave ol' MJ a major dose of death with his daddy longleg. Yep, turns out Spidey's webbing from the couple's conjoined arachnophobia was radioactive, causing poor old Mary Jane to be filled with cancer from the inside out. Lucky for her you can't get hair cancer though, because that red mane is still rocking it, even after being dead for a hot minute. Seriously, I know it's kinda messed up, but I would trade hair with her in a heartbeat. Now, if you feel bad for Mr. Parker, slow down a bit before your sympathy engines overheat. Let us not forget the time Peter Parker gave up his marriage with Mary Jane in a deal with the goddamn devil, Satan. Yes, you heard me right. Peter Parker made a deal with the devil. Well, Mephisto technically, but he is clearly the devil of the Marvel Universe. Okay, let's start from the beginning. You see, there is a plot arc in Marvel Comics referred to as the Civil War. All you need to know is that the US government tried to pass a bill that required all superhumans to register their real identities. Captain America was against it, Iron Man was for it, and Spider-Man was somewhere in the middle. He actually wanted to liquidate all his stuff and leave the country with his wife at the time, Mary Jane, and his Aunt May. However, MJ and Auntie M thought it was about time Peter got some credit for being Spider-Man and persuaded Peter to reveal his secret identity to the world. So he did. However, since all of Spider-Man's enemies knew who he was, they also quickly found out who his family was too. Almost instantly, the Kingpin hired a sniper who in turn shot Aunt May. Bam! Now, the sniper didn't kill poor old Miss May, but it sure as shit put her in critical condition. With Aunt May in the hospital, dying from a gunshot wound, this put Peter in a bit of a financial bind. So he asked Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, the richest superhero under the sun, for a little bit of that FU money he has so much of. And by asked, I mean kind of attacked, and then yelled at. Peter then tracks down Dr. Strange to talk about Aunt May's medical situation. Strange says he can't do shit, so Peter pretty much starts running around to like every super genius he can think of. I'm not kidding! He hits up Dr. Doom, High Evolutionary, Doc Mother Effin' Ock. Hell, he even asks Reed Richards' stretchy ass for help. But no matter how brainy the scientist, they all tell him the same thing. She gon' die. Unable to stop Aunt May's impending doom, he does the only logical thing possible. He tries to use a magical spell to send himself back in time. Ooh. You thought I was gonna say make a deal with the devil, didn't you? Ha, no, just wait, that's next. You see, after Peter's magical time travel idea doesn't pan out, he starts making his way towards the hospital in order to be by Aunt May's side. On his way there, a little girl approaches him and tells him that she can fix all his problems. The girl runs off and leads Peter to a group of men and women dressed in red. They explain that all the men standing around are versions of him from different timelines, ones where he never even became Spider-Man. The woman then reveals herself to be Mephisto, who explains he can save Aunt May, but in exchange, he wants Peter and MJ's marriage. And no, he isn't gonna force them to get a divorce, he will just make it so their marriage never existed. Kinda like a cosmic delete key. Mephisto gives Parker until midnight to talk it over with MJ before they decide, which is like a really reasonable thing for the devil to do. After Peter and MJ talk it out, they decide to take the deal under the circumstance that Peter's secret identity be forgotten by the world as well. Then MJ, acting out of straight selflessness, whispers a secret deal to Mephisto in order for him to put Peter's life back the way it was so he can have a real shot at happiness. Once the deal is struck, Mephisto brings out the real evil shit and tells them that the little girl that led them here was their daughter that will now never exist. That is some cold shit, even for the devil. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the caliber of writing required to achieve high praise such as, and I quote, undoubtedly the worst comic Marvel published in 2007. However stupid making a deal with the devil might be, you still haven't heard about the Spider-Mobile or pretty much the entire Clone Saga where—
Oh my god, what are you doing? You've been in here for hours.
I'm educating your audience on just how insane Spider-Man is.
Well, finish it up later. I want to go home.
You know, if you just give me a key, I—
Yeah, and then next I'll let you take a lunch break. Oh, seriously, get out.
Alrighty, well I guess I'll tell you guys about all the other stupid shit Spider-Man does next time. In the meantime, make sure to like this episode, subscribe, and most important, share it on the interwebs. Maybe Boomstick will let me take that lunch break if we hit 15,000 likes? Maybe? Make sure to click the Desk of Death Battle logo to binge watch my other episodes or just watch them again. And don't forget SGC 2015 registration is open right now. See you in 2 weeks.